Leviathans in Clanwars is without a doubt the most discussed subject of Crosser right now. And I do to some extent understand why, but I do feel like it is appropriate to make a video on it, give my thoughts about it. Not that I am some superior genius that knows more than the average Crosser player, but I have been asked about this a lot and I do kind of want to contribute to the discussion because I feel like it derailed a bit. The main question right now is it going to be a party for all the whales that has the wallet to build something like this? With 10, 11 scorpions on it, nothing else, and just be able to have themselves a one-shot party, pretty much. My main argument is that I honestly do not believe that it is going to be just that. If you see builds like this, the main issue with this build, first of all, is the fact that you will have exposed weapons. You'll be very exposed from specific angles. You'll, with only scorpions and nothing else, have a hard time cover in many areas at once. I know we potentially will get those perks and all, but let's go into that detail later on. So I brought out a few different Leviathans here that, you know, you can see here. Just want to start out by covering those, and then we'll just talk about why I think that specific designs like these may not be as efficient as some of you guys expect, while also just showcasing some footage from the last time that the Leviathan battles were on. So first of all, different designs here. This one, specific one right here, super vulnerable from pretty much any angle. I know you can hide these way better, but the second that you start hiding these guns way better, you also lose a lot of your firing angles. Losing those firing angles, for example, if we look at something like this, means that you can no longer cover anything from the sides, so you'll be super vulnerable for flanking. I know this can be also countered by the fact that you have 3 teammates with you, but if the enemy plays a melee Leviathan, which is also a thing, then this all of a sudden becomes pretty vulnerable and pretty not useful, because this also gets wedged super easy because of the high frames. So already with this has some vulnerabilities. If you take cannon hits straight to the front here, you'll lose a bunch of your weapons in one hit. Then there is something like this, which I personally think is going to be way more valuable, probably not ideal build, but still possibly more valuable than some of the other Leviathans that I've shown you so far. This build, a build like this, is able to cover multiple angles at once, has a lot of HP, has a lot of variety of weapons here, so you can sort of cover both the longer ranges as well as the shorter ranges. Again, this is by no means an optimal build, because you do need guns that are way better protected than this, in my opinion, in order to be efficient. But at least this thing provides a decent amount of ammo, a decent amount of coverage around you, and also some wedge protection with these with these meat grinders here and stuff like that. I am also not going to really go into detail with saying this specific build is just going to be super meta, because like 95% of the people that voice their opinion about this right now, I have not tried playing Leviathan Clanwars battles either. So at the end of the day, we honestly have very little idea about how this is actually going to work out, if it is going to be balanced, because it's a new thing. And I think that is what scares most people away, the fact that it is a new thing that you haven't seen before. And, you know, the initial thoughts about it, I fully get it. Makes you think that it's going to be super scary. But, I mean, let's try it before we judge it too hard. That was super loud. Let's just assemble this instead. Then we have something like this, which is a traditional design that you can use if you want to farm a lot of copper in invasions. These builds usually do really well because they have plenty of wedge protection. They are very hard to degun because of this tower structure. But another thing that you lose with this is a lot of firing angles. For example, the Retro has a hard time firing. The Mandrakes are quite hard up. It's going to be hard firing close to you with these. And also, you know, these things can still get wedged. Lots of explosives on here, but they are hard to take down. One of the main speculations that at least I have right now is whether these will actually be if the Leviathans like these, when you take them to Clan Wars, will also be subject of the damage reduction or the added durability to everything to them. I don't know if this is a thing that transfers over to Clan Wars, but we'll have to see. So something like this, honestly, not really sure what to expect from this. I've seen better builds on the exhibition, but I do not want to, as I said, point out to anything saying this is going to be it, because honestly, at the end of the day, we have no idea. We have assumptions as to what could potentially be good, and I would personally take something maybe along the lines of this. I would prefer a more mobile or a more agile Leviathan, I think, in my personal opinion. But nevertheless, something like this, you know, could potentially be useful. And this is also decently fast, and I think that's something that you may want to do with these Leviathans. I'll bring up some footage now of the previous time that we had Leviathan battles, and back then the Leviathans were most of the time quite fast, and they would rush into each other, and you would just try to kill one Leviathan with the other, which is also why some people ran melee Leviathans, for example. I think for this one, people have a much wider variety of weapons. We didn't have that last time. Last time we really saw Leviathans with a lot of different weapons and a lot of different setups. There weren't really these super heavy whales back in the game back then that had 10 scorpions, 10 typhoons, or whatever. We do see that now, but I still just want to stress that I do not think that it's great to just stack 10 relics of the same category and then expect that to be great, because you'll be good at something, but you'll completely lose out on other things. And if you have a melee that rushes you or something like that, and you're playing fully on the long range, well, then you're pretty screwed. Then it's up to your team setup. You might be able to get something going, but again, it's mostly assumptions. And I think it's just important for you guys to remember that a lot of us here haven't tried this. I've been in this game for about 2 years, and I still haven't tried it, because it was out before I played, or it might actually have been live for a bit of time while I played, but I had only just started back then. So it is something that a lot of us haven't tried. So just try to not be too pessimistic about it, because it can still show good things to us, and it can still actually be viable. And I think in general, it's interesting for us to see these different kinds of concepts. Another argument that I see is that all of the good people will be able to build massive Leviathans, and all of the bad people with no inventory won't be able to build any Leviathan. Don't forget that it's first of all only one guy in the group who has to bring a Leviathan. So if your group leader brings a good Leviathan, then you don't have to worry about your inventory not being great enough. So maybe try to discuss this within your clan. Say who has the biggest inventory, who's able to provide the biggest and most deadly Leviathan, and maybe make sure that he's the one who brings it most of the time. I know you cannot rely on that one guy to always be active, but there are ways that you can sort of prepare yourself for this with your clan if you do intend to go out there and win. For me personally, I'm gonna see this as a fun experience and you know, an opportunity to try different types of clan wars. For me, it's boring to always just sit there and play for. We've somewhat, you know, consistently moved to top 30 at the end of the week. Super happy about that. We did not really expect to go there as a clan. We mostly want to farm uranium, but now that we have proven that we can be there, why not fight for it? I'm gonna love to see this, and if we drop out of top 60 because we're messing around with Leviathans, so be it. This is a test period. It might be gone in 2 weeks, then we don't have to worry about it anymore. We can say, oh yeah, great, we had some fun with this. There might be more competitive people out there, but the people with the ability to build these 10 relic Leviathans, if that's what you worry about, you won't find them in top 200 anyways. And if you do find those people in top 200, then maybe stop and think for a second how they cannot get out of top 200 even though they have 10 relics. So, you know, they might just be playing for fun just like you do. So if they have a super tryhard Leviathan that kills anything, then they will probably push out of top 200 anyways and end in top 60 really, really fast during these couple of weeks. I really do not think that you guys should stress too much about meeting these massive whales and their huge Leviathans. I think you should just take this as an opportunity to have some funny and new and different diverse content. And then once this is over, we can always leave our feedback and see if we should maybe just stress for the devs that this should be a standalone game mode, that we don't necessarily have to play in regular Clan Wars, or it's going to be one extra Clan Wars session. It's going to replace one Clan Wars session. Hopefully, I do not hope that it replaces any, because the time periods right now for the current Clan Wars season is actually super appropriate for most people, I think, and we're quite happy with that. So would be super dope to see maybe an alternate version of Clan Wars, call it Leviathan Wars, whatever. Give us some rewards for that. Maybe give us some rating in there, give us some resources, give us some, I don't know, coins, whatever. Maybe uranium is finally picking back up the price that it had before, so I don't think necessarily that they should start giving uranium in a separate game mode, because that will just crash the uranium market once again. But I do believe that Leviathan battles are something that everyone has asked for, and now they're provided and you guys are able to go into Clanwars and play with it. It might even be possible for more people who are not able to build super heavy builds to just make a super solid Leviathan and that way play Clanwars, even though you cannot provide a 15,000 power score build otherwise, which is sometimes required once you get to the uranium farming stages. So all in all, I do think that we have to, you know, kind of be careful with the way that we address this. If you're against it, I also respect that. I fully respect your opinion on it, but I do just personally believe that we should, you know, we should try this out and then see how it goes. And that's sort of my opinion about it, because a lot of people have asked for my explicit opinion on this, and that's what I'm trying to provide here. I'm not trying to tell you guys exactly how to do this if you want success, but just my general opinion on it. And I do think that you guys should cherish this and enjoy all the fun that this will probably provide. And if your Leviathan gets one-shotted in 5 seconds, then have a good laugh about it, because honestly, I think it's a bit hilarious if you meet a 10 Scorpion Leviathan and you get one-shotted by it. Probably not if we do that 10 games in a row, but it is what it is. It's going to be gone soon again, guys, hopefully, because it is, not hopefully, but probably, because it is, after all, just a test period. So that's kind of my opinion about it. Hope you guys could use this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the footage. Thank you so much to Renzi for borrowing me this footage. He was participating in the previous one, which is why he was able to provide this. And for once, his Leviathan was actually super dope as well. I think I'm going to have a look at that as well and try to see if I can get some inspiration from there. So thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.